Hello, fabulous superstar Scorpio. Welcome to your horoscope for the month of September 2023. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. It is a remarkable astrological month, without a doubt. Big moves happening in the sky now. Boys, it's a very special time. We have a very fortunate new moon set to take place in the middle of the month. On the 15th, this very fortunate new moon is taking place in a friendship part of your sky, and it is part of a larger configuration that astrologers call a kite formation. On the one hand, supremely harmonious connections with Jupiter and Uranus, on the other with Pluto. And it is a new moon that is opposite the sky from Neptune. It's that Neptunian energy that is a little tricky. I do want to be straightforward with you there because it does suggest compromise or a sense of needing to find balance, even if it's hard, a sense of needing to surrender if you're going to tap into the energies of the big blessings that are part and characteristic of this new moon as well. In order to understand where it is that your efforts are best suited, it does mean perhaps releasing a sense of needing to tell the universe exactly what it is that you think you want and what it's supposed to be like. This new moon is happening in a part of the sky that has to do with the hopes and wishes that you have for your life. You absolutely could be making big gains on that front, aligning with something more lofty, more visionary. However, it may not be exactly what you think or look exactly the way that you thought. And yet, there is a lot to be gained by giving any opportunity your all at this time. It represents a powerful beginning that can open up even greater potential and promise for you, especially in the fullness of time. This part of the sky has to do with friends, group dynamics, group involvement of any kind, everything from good friends to acquaintances that you know. It is as a result of who you know that you're able to connect with those really big opportunities. It can be at this time that there are social events. They end up being very rewarding, introducing you to new people that can play a big part navigating forward from here, but it may not be exactly who you think it is. And so if you're at a social event, you meet somebody and you think, wow, this is a big power player. I really need to focus and do things a certain way. That's fine. You can do that. But it actually may end up being the person where there's a very casual interaction who ends up being the person who helps you in even bigger ways, especially in the fullness of time, but maybe more immediately as well. And so stay open to others, say yes to social invitations or gathering with others. It is in those spaces where great things can follow. Navigating forward, it is on the 29th. That is a big day this month. We have a full moon, and this full moon is happening in a part of the sky for you that has to do with your daily life. And so it is what is taking place on that level of your work, the places you frequent, along with how well you take care of yourself, that are going to be amplified or brought into focus in some way. Here's the thing, this full moon is relatively close in the sky to Chiron. It amplifies wherever healing needs to happen. It amplifies feelings of vulnerability as well. I'm sorry to say, but it does happen. However, there aren't any other really big major celestial connections that full moon is making, which does suggest that whatever's happening, there's a sense of events being compartmentalized and not necessarily affecting other areas of life. But there's something else happening on that day that is huge, and that is hours after the full moon perfects, we get Venus square Uranus. Venus moving through the top of your sky as part of the larger Venus retrograde season. This is a big month in that regard. On the 4th of the month, Venus goes direct. So as we start this month, that energy of Venus is just so strong with us, helping you to look at and understand what a higher, more loving vision for your life could be, helping you to understand where your heart is in terms of what it is you hope to achieve and what success is meaningful to you and what is hollow, what is empty. It is, though, once we get to the full moon and that square of Venus and Uranus, well, that represents a really big peak moment as part of the larger Venus retrograde season. Early next month is when Venus leaves shadow and the larger retrograde season is over. But Venus direct squaring Uranus, this is a surprise a minute. You may see bosses, people in positions of authority differently in some way. You may be invited to look at some big opportunity as well, but then there are some unexpected insights that you may have that leave you questioning whether or not it's an opportunity worth pursuing at all. It could be at this time that the behavior of a boss or person in position of authority feels really erratic. And it could also be at this time that a dramatically different type of career opportunity or life purpose opportunity shows up for you, and you're trying to figure out whether or not it's a good fit. Now, regardless of what happens, remember, it's so interesting. On the one hand, career breakthrough, effort, genius, or cutting away very quickly, realizing that a certain path really is not the one for you. However, almost simultaneously, that full moon invites you to look at what you're actually doing. And I can't help but feel they're going to work together in some way. Where, yes, there may be an opportunity, there may be an interview or audition situation, but then you look at the nitty gritty the full moon indicates and what is actually going to be required. And you realize that, oh my God, do I actually want to do what it is that's being asked of me to do if I am going to achieve what it is that I desire? What you desire might change, and that in turn might change the way you see the power of your day as well. There may be a sense of opportunity, but then wondering if you have the skills to back it up. That might be part of the vulnerability of that full moon as well. So regardless of what takes place, though, understand that there's a lot of truth here. The truth of what you feel, where you feel emotional, where you feel vulnerable or insecure, but also the truth of what's really going on and what blessings are worth aligning with and what maybe just don't mean anything to you, perhaps not anymore. The full moon energy as well could play out in terms of how well you take care of you. And this could be a time when you are invited to really look at your health related habits, maybe look at your medications, for example. As I said, the energy here is quite compartmentalized, which tells me that if there is some need to pay attention and make sure you're taking the right medications and the right dosage at the right time, it is that focus on your healing that can reap big gains, but it stays on the level of your health, which is great. But it's not that you need to go outside of yourself, you need to look for the information or make big sweeping changes necessarily. It's more about what's happening in those small moments, how you're able to make adjustments and understand what healing is going to be for you, where it is that you want to feel more healed, want to feel more strong, but first may need to identify some sense of not feeling strong in order to get to that much healthier place. It is Chiron that is the healer. If it is that your job involves healing in some way, well, that may be part of the meaningfulness that comes forward for you now. And there could be job related opportunities, not necessarily career, but in terms of what you're actually doing, those job related opportunities that are related to your profession in terms of being a healer that help you to learn so much about yourself navigating forward from here. Now, speaking of Venus, where it comes to matters of love, let's talk about love here because, of course, big moment as part of the larger Venus retrograde season, Venus going direct as well. Remember, love and respect are intimately tied for you as part of this larger season. But think about that new moon as well, being activated by Jupiter and Uranus in your opposite sign. Neptune involved in a heart flirtatious part of the sky for you as well. I think love and what's happening socially with friendships are likely very tied for you. But ultimately, the larger question is going to come down to respect. If the respect is there, things can really leap forward. If not, that's where big questions come in. So for those of you open to meeting someone new, that new moon is so powerful for connecting with new people, especially in social situations, through friends or with friends. Where it is that you are gathering with others, a love connection absolutely can begin. And it is that beginning moment. But I think once we get late into the month, that's really when you're looking at your own sense of what is real here, where the respect is, where it's been in the past, where it hasn't been in the past. A lot of that energy late in the month could be about finally healing, putting in the past where it is that you didn't feel that respect before. I also want to add, if you are connecting with new people, if you're getting to know someone new, or even if you're in an established bond, if this person has any habits that really don't work for you, the big lesson might be that a partner and you, as someone who's dating somebody or getting to know somebody, is not a healer, right? People ultimately heal themselves. And it could be that if you're connecting with new people, by the time we get to the end of the month, you may be seeing some things related to their habits that leave you with really important questions. It's up to you to decide how to navigate forward. For those of you just starting to date someone, again, seeing those habits differently might be a part of the picture now. But that energy mid-month is just really beautiful. It's really positive. I love that energy for you. I feel like you're likely feeling very connected to this person and enjoying their company in the company of others. But navigating to the end of the month, there's a real reality moment that may feel like it shows up, and you're able to look at whether or not you really think this person is part of a higher, more loving vision for your life. Where they are in a twist, it can feel like the two of you accelerate onward and upward. But where they're not, a lot of that energy late in the month says you may decide to go in a different direction. And for those of you in an established bond, well, look, if you feel that you're in the right relationship for you and all summer during this Venus retrograde season, your relationship has stayed strong, well, chances are a lot of these energies I've spoken about won't show up necessarily in your established bond. You'll just have a really nice social sense of enjoying your partner, especially in the middle of the month with that new moon. However, if you have felt for a while that maybe you're not in the right relationship for you, the energy late in the month, boy, is that feeling stirring very strongly. If you have had questions around respect, that is going to show up in very unexpected ways. It's like you have to deal with this. You have to make a decision. And your answers are going to be uniquely your own. But I can say a lot of that energy is very all or nothing, helping you to decide what navigating forward looks like for you. What I love about this month for you, there's so much here. It's a valuable and meaningful astrological moment. I am going to say that new moon mid-month, in many ways, it is the star of the show. The new moon takes place on the same day that Mercury goes direct in the same part of the sky. And so I do feel like very happenstance, synchronistic moments are set to take place with the friends in your life. You've got this energy all in the first half of the month of just randomly running into old friends, the last place you expected, and being absolutely delighted. That energy is likely to be especially strong mid-month. But I think there's also a sense here of you connecting with people that can help you to align with those higher goals, that higher sense of the hopes and wishes that you have for your life, a more lofty sense of what your life is meant to be. Whether personally they help you to understand or practically facilitate opportunity for you, this can be a time when you feel very fortunate for the people that you know. Well, thank you so much for watching. September 1st is my 17-year anniversary as a full-time astrologer. And every year I have a 24-hour biggest sale of the year over on my website, nadiyashah.com. Make sure you're following me on social media. Every 6 hours, we launch incredible once-a-year discounts. I hope you absolutely love them, and thank you for your love and support all these years. Now, if you want to know and you want to get a video just like this one each and every week for each and every sign, log on to NadiyaShahSuperstars.com, where you get expanded, exclusive video scopes for all signs for as low as just $3 a month with Choose Your Membership rate. Higher tiers get you things like all access passes to Synchronicity University events, consultations with me, and so much more. All of this in the Superstar space at NadiyaShahSuperstars.com. Links are in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. It'll be a great month. Enjoy.